Hello and welcome to Serdd's Audio Fanfiction's YouTube channel. I'm Serdd. Thanks for tuning in. The following episode is the first 15 minutes of my audio fanfic, Principles of War, written by Orphan Account. The full audio fic can be found on my website in the links below. Be sure to check it out. It is available for download now. Right, with all that out of the way, let's get started. They hang in the air with all the subtlety of a missile in freefall, and Yuri wants to reach out and pull them back before they land. But his fingers grasp uselessly as the light in Victor's eyes blows apart under the force of the words. His sister forced him to sit through enough World War II documentaries over the course of his life that he recognizes scorched earth when he sees it. Whatever defenses had been there, whatever objectives had been put into place, are gone. Bowed to his assault without so much as a struggle, and by the time the smoke clears, there's nothing to show that any opposition had existed at all. After the final, let's end this. Shock and awe. What did those generals think after they had cut their enemy to the quick in the name of some arbitrary victory? Did it feel like a win? Did they force themselves to look the fallen in the eyes and bear witness to the damage they had done? Did any of them feel the regret that presses against Yuri from all sides, boxing him in and closing around him until every breath is a battle, every heartbeat artillery fire? Or maybe they all slept soundly in their beds, secure in their decisions, and woke the next morning to a changed world that didn't faze them whatsoever. A preemptive strike is still a strike, no matter how one swings it. And the aftermath, the suffering and the heartache to come, is blood on his hands. He can't face what he's just done. The hush in the room melts into grasping hands that claw at his skin, his clothes, rending his breath from his lungs with vicious pleasure, forcing their way down his throat to get at his heart. He thinks about pressing a fist to his chest in hopes that it'll stop them from pulling apart his ribs and finding their prize. But he stays his hand. Because with every passing second he realizes that the attack didn't just hit its intended target. It doubled back and struck home. "I'll let you finish getting dressed," Yuri says, throwing a smile up like a white flag, and initiates a retreat by grabbing his coat and skate bag. His aching, trembling legs can't stand on this blood-soaked battlefield any longer. If he doesn't make it to home base soon, he'll lose everything. "I'm gonna pop out for a minute. Do you need anything while I'm gone?" Victor stares, stunned. "Yuri, gum maybe? I think you left your pack in the cab earlier. I'll pick up some more, but text me if you need anything else. I won't be gone long." When Victor gets to his feet, his eyes wild with something Yuri can't name, it's the moment of mobilization. Tanks and jets and an entire armed cavalry regrouping, cutting their losses and striking back. Or it should be. The squadron doesn't move. "Yuri, what are you—" No, go get dressed. I'll be fine." His stupid feet tangle up in his haste to get to the door, towing his shoes on, and he can't look at him, can't face any of this. What he needs is a safe haven, a ceasefire. God, how cowardly is it of him to do this when he is the one who fired first? "I'll be back soon." "Yuri!" But he manages to get out in time, shutting the door on whatever Victor's volley would have been. He doesn't let go of the breath he's holding hostage until the elevator doors slide closed behind him. Safe. For now. Yuri lets his eyes fall shut and his head fall back, and every breath is assigned a number and marked as a casualty. 2 1,000. 3 1,000. 4. The treaties they had been writing and rewriting stipulated that, should one of them fall prey to the other, a ceasefire would be put into effect, and aid would be given. But Victor didn't come after him. Didn't even try. Just watched Yuri launch a failed offensive out of nowhere, and then walk out the door. It's a clear violation of terms, and Yuri doesn't know what he should be feeling. Heartbreak? Anger? Fear? D, all of the above? There's too much rolling in him to parse, and no time. 8 1,000. 9 1,000. Yuri shoves his fingers up under his glasses and digs them into the corners of his eyes, which have grown wet and hot, unbearably itchy, and he gives serious thought to clawing them right out of his head. The elevator dings and the doors open with a whisper, and Yuri stumbles out of them with all the grace of a wounded soldier limping from the battlefield. The exit is lit up with fairy lights, a beacon of hope. Oh, thank God. And he makes a beeline for freedom when, "Hey, pig!" Yuri wishes he had the kind of constitution that allowed him to just move forward, to ignore it when someone addresses him with such an authoritative voice. But he's never once blown off the acknowledgement of his superiors. His determined march slows to a stop, and he turns to meet Yurio's flat but puzzled gaze. Yurio is bundled in a warm sweater with his hands wrapped around a mug of something that steams. Tea, maybe, or even coffee at this hour. In the overstuffed chair to Yurio's right, Odebek peers up at him with an unreadable expression. Or maybe that's just how Odebek normally looks. Yuri hasn't been able to get a read on him from the day they met. It's obvious he's interrupting something. A meeting of minds. An alliance of two swapping strategy to secure a win for both sides. They're a united front, staring him down like he wandered into enemy territory without so much as a boot knife for protection. "It's after midnight," Yurio says. His fingers are tight around his mug, like he's giving serious thought to pulling the handle like a pin and chucking his drink at Yuri. "Where the hell are you going?" Yuri tries on a smile, but it's an ill-fitting uniform. "I'm just heading out for a bit. Sorry to have interrupted. I'll leave you two to it." Bafflement colors Yurio's voice when he says, "I was the one who called you over here, idiot. Where's Victor?" It's like a new offensive. Yuri can't stop the shudder that blasts his way up his spine. He sucks in a shaking breath and attempts to save face by keeping his smile firmly plastered on. Yurio isn't fooled. "What happened?" Nothing, everything's fine," Yuri says lightly. Yurio doesn't look remotely convinced. Even to his own ears, Yuri sounds like a spent shell, blown wide open and reshaped by fire. Empty of everything that was once useful. I just wanted to... "Are you all right, Katsuki?" There's an unsure kindness lurking in Odebek's otherwise stone-carved eyes. "You seem distraught." With a hollow laugh, Yuri waves it off and begins backing up. Retreat, retreat, retreat. No, I'm just gonna head out for a while. I'll see you at the final tomorrow. Make sure you both get some sleep, okay?" It's not enough. Yurio has never shied away from confrontation as long as Yuri's known him. And apparently he's not going to start now. Passing his mug to Odebek, Yuri scrambles up onto his knees and hangs over the back of his chair with a mulish snarl.
Don't you dare blow me off! What the hell is wrong? What did he do?
Victor didn't do anything. He didn't do anything. It's me, okay? I fired the first shot. Yuri startles.
The first what?
Look, I'm just going to go out for a while. I'll see you tomorrow. With that, Yuri throws up his tattered white flag and heads for the door. The roar of blood in his ears manages to drown out Yurio's angry shouting until Yuri makes it outside and throws himself to the mercy of the Barcelona winter. A numbing cold, and the relief that spindles through him is like ice. Yes, ice. He needs the ice. His home base is so close that he can almost taste the sharpness of it on the back of his tongue. It takes no time at all to flag down a taxi, although he has to give the driver directions using Google Images, as the poor man doesn't speak English or Japanese. And Yuri can't say anything in Spanish except, "Hola." It's nearing 1 a.m. by the time they pull in front of their destination, and Yuri is so pathetically grateful to see it that he tips the man almost an obscene amount of money and trips out of the car. He's only been to FC Barcelona's rink a handful of times, but the security officer who worked the late shift the last time Yuri came knocking is still there, and he's just as happy to see him as he was then. Which is to say, not at all. But the man still lets Yuri inside with barely a protest. The officer mutters under his breath while unlocking the doors to the rink, and Yuri can only imagine what he's just said, so he mumbles a clumsy "gracias" and hustles as quickly past as he can. The doors swing shut behind him, the echo burrowing into his bones, leaving him alone with the dim lighting of the rink. He closes his eyes and exhales. At once, the walls crushing him pull back a little, and the clawed hands scrabbling for purchase around his heart ease. For a moment, it's a détente. His head swims a little when he opens his eyes, but his legs are steady when he drops his bag to the floor and replaces his shoes with his skates. They're a couple of years old, but painstakingly cared for, and have seen and done things that most haven't. When he ties them, he double knots them the way he's always done, ever since he was 13 and read an article about the proper way to tie your skates, as demonstrated by all the air in his lungs punches out of him as though he's taken a hit, and he just barely manages to catch himself before his knees buckle. Victor did nothing. Didn't follow him. He had plenty of time. Minutes upon minutes to catch the next elevator or run down 10 flights of stairs to stop Yuri from walking out. That's what should have happened. It's what Victor should have done. Because that's what Victor does. He doesn't lose. Even his name is a testament to that fact. Yuri had been counting on retaliation, had prepared himself for a fight. But nothing could have ever prepared him for immediate surrender. The inaction is somehow worse than Yuri's deliberate self-sabotage. In all of Mari's countless documentaries and films, he doesn't remember any side setting themselves on fire to prevent the other from doing it first. He doesn't know if there's a name for that. Because the fact is, Victor can sit on the sidelines and impart his wisdom all he wants. But his home is on the ice. Always has been, always will be. His battles are fought on the edge of a blade. His victories all won with a crowd roaring his name. To be kept from the arena, to bind his legs and soul in chains, and force him to watch his foes and allies flaunt their freedom, is an atrocity. The ISU should be levying sanctions against Yuri. It was all over Victor's face when he had been watching a 15-year-old meet him as an equal on the battlefield and undo all he had done. Dissatisfaction, longing, envy, admiration. Yuri has never brought any of those out in Victor, and he'll never be good enough to do so. Well, that's it. I know it was short, but be sure to check out the full thing and subscribe to my website for full fics and updates. If you'd like to read this fic for yourself, please check out the story link and author page in the description below. Also, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. I'll be posting new episodes each month. Until next time, happy listening.